Why your sales are up one month and dead the next. There's a pattern I've seen in almost every business owner I've worked with who's stuck in that feast or famine cycle. Great month, terrible month. Great month, terrible month. And they can't figure out why. Well, I couldn't either until I started tracking the sales velocity equation every week. And once I did, swings flattened out. The revenue got predictable. And I've watched it happen for every client who's done the same thing. Let me show you what I track and why it works. Oh, and gently tap that like button if this is what you needed to hear today. Here we go. Section 1, the real problem. First, let me tell you what's not causing your revenue swings. It's not the economy, it's not seasonality, it's not bad luck, and it's not that your market dried up. I've worked with manufacturing executive, brilliant operator, strong offer, legitimate clients, and every January he'd panic. Revenue would crater. By March, he'd be fine again. He blamed January. He said, it's just slow after the holidays. Well, it wasn't January. It was his pipeline. And his pipeline was empty every December because he stopped feeding it every October when Q4 got busy. The real cause of feast or famine is almost always the same thing: inconsistent execution of the activities that feed the engine. Not bad luck, not timing, it's inconsistency. Here's the good news: inconsistency is fixable. Bad luck isn't, but inconsistency is. Section 2, the sales velocity equation. There's a formula I use with every client I work with. It's called the sales velocity equation. And once you understand it, you'll never look at your revenue the same way again. It looks like this: sales velocity equals number of opportunities times win rate times average deal value divided by the cycle length. 4 variables. That's it. Every revenue problem you have lives inside one of those 4 numbers. Let me break it down quickly. What's number of opportunities? That's how many qualified prospects are actually in your pipeline right now. Not leads, not names, qualified prospects who have a real problem you can solve. What's win rate? That's the percentage of those conversations that you're actually closing. If you're closing 1 in 10, your win rate is 10%. Most business owners in the $10,000 to $50,000 per month range are operating at a win rate far lower than they realize because they're counting conversations that were never real opportunities. What's average deal value? That's what the average client pays you. If you're discounting to close, this number is lower than it should be. If you're attracting the wrong clients, same problem. And finally, what's the sales cycle length? That's how long it takes from the first conversation to close a deal. The longer this is, the slower your velocity. Long sales cycles drain energy, kill cash flow, and feed the feast or famine pattern directly. Here's the key insight: you don't have a revenue problem. You have a variable problem. One of those 4 numbers is weak, and it's dragging everything else down with it. Section 3, the flywheel. I want to talk about something most business owners skip entirely, and it's the reason the swings keep coming back even after a good month. I call it the flywheel. Think of it like this: a flywheel is heavy, hard to start, but once it's spinning, it keeps going with less and less effort. Most business owners don't have a flywheel, they have a sprint. They go hard for 6 weeks, close some business, get busy delivering, and stop doing the activities that fill the pipeline. Then they wonder why 30 days later the phone goes quiet. I worked with a consultant, sharp gal, experienced, genuinely excellent at what she did, who had the exact problem. She'd close 3 clients in a row and feel incredible, rightly so. Then she'd spend 8 weeks delivering. Then she'd come up for air, realize her pipeline was empty, panic, sprint again, close 2 more, disappear back into delivery. She wasn't failing, she was cycling. And the cycle was exhausting her. The fix wasn't working harder, it was building consistent weekly habits, small, non negotiable marketing and sales activities that kept the flywheel moving even during busy delivery periods. Once she installed those habits and tracked her velocity number weekly, Her revenue stabilized within 60 days, not because she worked more, because she stopped stopping. Section 4, where AI fits in. Here's where I want to give you something practical that most people in this space get wrong about AI. AI doesn't fix a broken flywheel, but it dramatically lowers the cost of keeping one spinning. The biggest reason business owners stop their marketing activities when they get busy is time. Creating content, writing follow up sequences, staying visible, nurturing leads, all of it takes time they don't have when they're deep in delivery. AI assisted content creation changes that equation. I've watched a financial advisor who had zero content presence and hated writing start producing 2 pieces of content a week using AI as his drafting partner. 15 minutes of his thinking shaped into content that kept him visible to his pipeline while he was busy serving clients. His pipeline didn't empty during his busy periods anymore because the flywheel kept moving. I want to be clear. AI doesn't replace your expertise, your voice, or your judgment. It removes the friction that causes you to stop. And in feast or famine cycles, stopping is the enemy. Jim's story, section 5. I want to give you some personal context here because I don't think you should take advice from someone who hasn't lived this. I spent 6 years helping scale a manufacturing company called EAR Specialty Composites. When I joined the company, revenue was $10 million and gross margins were at 12%. Thin, fragile, feast or famine in its own way. I committed to tracking our sales velocity number every single week. We built consistent marketing and sales activity around a handful of major target accounts. We stopped chasing everything and focused on the opportunities with the highest value. In 6 years, revenue grew from 10 million to 43 million. Margins went from 12% to 55%. The company was acquired by a Fortune 100 company for $123 million. That didn't happen because we got lucky. It happened because we stopped allowing inconsistency and started tracking the number that told us the truth every single week. The sales velocity equation doesn't lie. Your pipeline doesn't lie. The number tells you exactly where the problem is, if you're willing to look at it. Before I go further, I want to offer you something that takes about 5 minutes and will show you exactly which of the 4 velocity numbers is limiting your revenue right now. It's a free diagnostic I built specifically for business owners doing 10 to 50,000 a month who are tired of the swings. Go to go.sologrowth-ai.com/diagnostic. Answer the questions honestly. The diagnostic scores you across 6 dimensions of your growth system and tells you where growth is currently leaking and what to do first to fix it. It's free. It takes about 5 minutes and it gives you a clearer picture most business owners have never had. Go.sologrowth-ai.com/diagnostic. I'll drop that link in the description below. Go do it after this video. Section 6, 3 things to do this week. Let me leave you with 3 things you can do this week, right now, that will start flattening your revenue swings. 1, write down your 4 velocity numbers. They are how many qualified opportunities you have in your pipeline right now. What's your win rate over the last 90 days? What's your average deal value? How long does it take to close? Write them down. If you can't answer those 4 questions, that's the first problem. Number 2, define your minimum weekly flywheel activities. What are the 2 or 3 things, non-negotiable, that you will do every single week to keep your pipeline moving, even when you're busy? 1 outreach touch, 1 piece of content, 1 follow-up sequence. It doesn't have to be 20 things. It has to be consistent. Number 3, pick 1 variable to improve this month, not all 4, 1. If your win rate is the weakest number, focus there. If your pipeline is thin, focus on opportunities. The sales velocity equation tells you where to apply pressure. Apply it there and nowhere else for 30 days. That's the beginning of the flywheel. Small, consistent, tracked. Outro. Feast or famine isn't your personality. It's not your market and it's not your destiny. It's a system problem, and system problems have system solutions. If you want to know exactly where the system is leaking, take the free diagnostic at go.sologrowth-ai.com/diagnostic. If this video gave you something useful, tap the like button and subscribe. I publish content like this specifically for business owners who are done guessing and ready to build something predictable. I'll see you in the next one.